I would like to thank all of those who have participated in the ongoing campaign to have the law changed to protect cats, to those who tweeted, #ActForCats, signed and shared the petition, and to the MPs who have signed my EDM calling for the Road Traffic Act to be amended. I'd also like to congratulate my constituent, Olivia Holland-Rose, who is here today, whose hard work and campaigning efforts have led to this debate. Now, Olivia started this petition in response to the tragic accident that resulted in the death of her beloved pet, D'Artagnan, or Dart for short. In January last year, Olivia sadly got a knock at the door. Her neighbour gave her the tragic news that Dart had been struck by a car, killed and left by the side of the road. And it was only through the kindness of a stranger who found D'Artagnan's body and proceeded to inquire about his owner that a neighbour was able to recognise him and inform Olivia and her husband of the accident. Had the driver who had initially hit D'Artagnan done this, and had the law required the driver to have reported the collision, then there's a possibility that D'Artagnan could have been taken to the vet in time to potentially save his life. But as Section 170 of the Road Traffic Act requires drivers to report an accident involving horses, cattle, mules, sheep, pigs, goats or dogs, and not cats, the driver had no legal obligation to report the collision, and so they drove off. Olivia and her partner are sadly not alone in this experience, as you've heard. Statistics around cats in road collisions are getting harder and harder to gather because a driver doesn't actually have to report the incident in the first place. A report recently from Petplan revealed that approximately 230,000 cats are run over each year, equating to 630 every day, and that 35% of drivers admit to having hit a cat themselves. And with approximately 12.2 million cat owners living in cats living in UK households, those figures are likely to be considerably higher today. As a nation of animal lovers, we can all sympathise with the devastation a pet owner feels when their beloved pet passes away. And though I don't have any pets myself, a member of my team has a dog that often stops past our constituency offices. And coincidentally, the dog is called Belle, although I can assure you the dog wasn't named after me. She was named years before we ever met her. And anyone who's visited my constituency office or has been out campaigning with me is likely to have met Belle, and she's become a beloved member of the team. Now, I know myself, my team, and indeed Belle's owners would be absolutely devastated if she were to be struck by a vehicle, but at least we have some reassurance that if this were to happen, the driver is legally obligated to report it, and we'd stand a higher chance of getting her to a vet in time if that was possible to potentially save her life. Cat owners do not have this luxury because cats are inexplicably excluded from this section of the Road Traffic Act. It seems ridiculous to me that pigs, dogs, cattle and horses are protected, but cats aren't. The law was created because of these animals' status as working animals, but we have evolved beyond appreciating animals solely for their economic value, and it's time our laws change to reflect that. In response to the petition, the government stated that rather than changing a law, to make roads safer, what they would want to do is to introduce compulsory microchipping. Now, microchipping cats is certainly a good policy. It's one that we seem to agree with right around this house, but a cat is no more likely to survive being hit by a car just because they were microchipped. The odds are already stacked against the cat. Microchipping cats will not increase their chances of survival. And while I also agree with the ambition to make roads safer in major cities, where cars are ever present and cat ownership is high, collisions are almost always going to be likely. These measures have to be paired with a change in the law that will require drivers to stop and report the collision, increasing the chances of the cat getting to life-saving treatment and potentially saving another family from losing their beloved pet. And if they do lose their beloved pet, at least giving them the closure of letting them know. Now, there is no reason that we can see for the law to exclude cats, and there are no excuses that can be made to be justified amending the law. It's such a small change, and I'd like the Minister to correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is something that can be changed by a delegated legislation committee, by statutory instrument. It would take a few of us from this House, very little at House time at all, just to reinsert that word, or insert that word if you've heard before. I'm sure, or I hope we all agree, that cats deserve to be treated the same as dogs, horses, pigs, and all the other animals cited in this Act, and that it's about time that the law was changed accordingly. Thank you very much.